Fantasy football podcast called Living the Stream comes to you each week. Streaming recommendations during NFL season, it's not just tongue-in-cheek. Quarterback, defense, tight end recommendations based on opposition matchup. Here are your podcast hosts, JJ Zacharyson and Danny Carter, living the stream.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Living the Stream. I'm JJ Zacharyson, the late round quarterback, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host Denny Carter. Denny, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, listen, don't worry about tripping over your words to start. We'll send that to the editor. They'll fix it in post. Okay, right. They'll use AI.
Sure.
They'll use chat, but I think Grok can help you with that. I don't know.
Yes.
It'll get fixed. Don't worry.
Yeah, I just so people who are watching know, literally 5 minutes ago, my lights that I used to like make this situation look more studio-esque, they went out right before this. So now, Denny and I were talking right before the show. It's kind of like a spooky Halloween theme going on right now.
I feel like I'm in a haunted house.
Right. I'm just gonna, just jump out.
I feel like a bloody stump of an arm is gonna pop out from behind you at any moment.
That's right.
That actually would be cool if you could.
That would be pretty cool, but I don't have that ability to do something like that. I can
no stumps.
I can do this. I can make my thumb. You see my thumb, right?
Oh, it's yeah. Oh, Jay.
For
those listening, you are missing JJ actually taking his thumb off.
Yeah. The kids love that one.
Yeah, I love it. I wanted to just start the show, if I could, with some soccer talk because,
of course,
we usually start with some sort of soccer talk. So I coach my daughter's 10 and under soccer team. I've never coached soccer before. I've never watched it. Don't really like it, but I do enjoy coaching it. And I've been trying this strategy that the haters said couldn't be done, and it's actually worked well so far. Can I tell you about it?
Yeah. Okay, let's hear it, Mike McDaniel.
Yeah. It's so true because it's working now, and it's like immediately going to not work, and I'm going to be fired.
Exactly.
So all right, so I was told that you have to have at least 2, if not 3 defenders at all times, right?
Okay.
On your end of the field.
On the pitch, as they say.
On the pitch. That's what the everybody else in the world says. And I got bored with that because I felt like we didn't have enough firepower, enough offense on getting down the field.
This really is Mike McDaniel. Keep going.
Yeah, yeah. So I signed Tyreek Hill. No, I said, okay. You know what we're doing? Here's what we're doing. We're having a goalie, obviously, even though I thought about pulling the goalie, and we're gonna have one defender. And everybody else is either a midfielder or a striker. And I want you all up there, and I want to overwhelm them with numbers, with analytics, right? And the first time we did that, we scored 8 goals. We won 8-1.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like, you know what it was like? It was like when the Dolphins scored 70 on the Broncos. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Okay.
Those were the days. The days.
So the second game, it didn't work out.
And so basically what you're saying is by the end of the season, people are going to be telling you that the person who runs the whole organization is going to say, no, you're fine. You can stick around.
Yeah.
But everyone else around you is going to say you need to quit.
You need to quit. Right. But the key to the strategy is this. So, and I don't mean to like talk up my own kid, but I'm going to do that anyway. My daughter, Eleanor, not a particularly like physical or like forceful person, but on the soccer field, she is a total animal, and I love it. And she has no interest in scoring goals. I asked her, you want to play more? You want to play offense? No, I want to play defense. Wow. I like defense. And I said, what? Okay. So the key to the whole strategy is that I have to have my daughter back on defense as the only defender. And JJ, she is taking people out.
Okay, so you're able to do this because you have like it's similar to the Chiefs were able to get to the Super Bowl
Right.
even though they didn't have any pass catchers because they had Patrick Mahomes.
And she's my Mahomes.
She's your
And
Mahomes, right?
and I'm telling you, like, she is like taking no prisoners, like to the point where the ref is like cool it or you're out of here, right?
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, okay, you can't actually just go like tackle somebody. And so she makes the strategy possible. And I'm enjoying it a lot, and she's making me look kind of smart. Although we did lose last game, but what
you know what, you are kind of one of those coaches that makes your scheme based off of the personnel that you have. You know, you're not just taking the scheme from team to team because you know that you can't necessarily do that if you didn't have Eleanor on another team.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to run this scheme.
And it allows my horses on offense to just go full force. Okay. Yeah. I have 2 lacrosse players. These girls can run like the freaking Terminator. And so you get the ball across midfield and they're gone, right?
Yeah.
But I'm confident that Eleanor can defend. So I'm having fun with strategy. I'll let you know if I'm fired at some point.
So these lights are kind of, the lack of lights for me are kind of messing with me now because there's more reflection on my glasses. And I was telling Denny before the show also, I took off my glasses. And when I take off my glasses now, I look like a different person.
I don't even recognize you.
Right. Even though this is what you saw for a decade.
Right.
This is what you saw forever. And then I made a comment to Denny that it's sort of like when a dude has a ponytail and then cuts it. Okay.
And by the way, and JJ said this in a way that was like goes without saying. He was like, it's like with a guy with a ponytail and then he cuts it and he's a totally different person. I'm like,
look,
I guess.
Look, what I meant was, okay, when I take off my glasses now, I look like someone who wears glasses.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like I look at you and I'm like, no, you don't wear glasses, but you look at me now. I mean, I'm like seeing sideways because I just took it's way better to wear the glasses than not wear them. But when I take them off, I look like someone who wears glasses now regularly, which I do. The crazy thing is that people only see me in glasses. I'm doing live streams and stuff when I'm at the computer, and that's when I'm wearing them. But like when I'm watching TV or something, I don't wear glasses. Like when I'm around the house, I take them off. Yeah. I wear them like when we go out because when I drive, I like wearing them, but like I don't wear them all the time. It's not a 24/7 thing. But regardless, it's like a person with a ponytail. When they get that ponytail cut, you could see them a decade later and say, you had a ponytail once.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know they had a ponytail before.
I covered in a former life, I covered the College Park City Council and the mayor. And
a lot of ponytails.
The mayor hated me, by the way. And he would get really sloshed at parties and then talk to me off the record. And I was just wanted to be on the record. Anyway, there was a councilman who had a ponytail, a horrible ponytail. And
was it like a Parks and Rec situation?
It was
IRL. Like that's what I'm just picturing right now.
That's exactly what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the reporter in Parks and Rec.
Right. You were like the rational, just trying to get like some answer, and they're just wild and crazy, just doing insane stuff.
Sometimes they would start whispering during the council meeting, and I'm like, you can't do that. I have to be able to hear what you said. This is on the record. This is on the public record. I'm going to I'm going to read the transcript afterward. like stop trying to like be secret. There's a reporter in the room with you, for God's sake. And I'm the only one. It's 12:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. And you're whispering about some like curbs you're going to put in. I'm going to hear it.
Right.
Anyway, guy cut his ponytail off. I literally I walked past him when I got to City Hall that next day. I was like, hey, how's it going? I was, oh my God, it's you. It's you're the city council member. So I know what you're saying about the ponytail.
I think part of it is that people who had ponytails, guys who had ponytails, they don't then go like to a full-on fade or something like that.
No.
Like they don't clipper the side of their head. They always will. They'll be like either a really long clipper or scissor cut. And when you're that way, that means that you're always prepared to go back to the ponytail, right? Like they're always ready for that. And you can just tell they had that thing sticking out in the back of their head for a while before they got rid of it. All right. Let's look at what happened last week. Denny, we've had some good weeks in a row. We're kind of stacking good weeks over here on Living the Stream.
And that's hard this time of year because we've already given you a bunch of every week starters.
Yeah. I mean, what do you want from us? You know,
and we just gave you another one with Gadsden.
Yeah. What more could you want from us, guys?
And yet you demand more.
It's crazy how demanding all of you are. All right, we had Aaron Rodgers, who had 22.6 points. We had Jackson Dart, who had 28.4. Sam Darnold was a deeper play. Remember, we talked about how we didn't like the matchup, so he only had 8.6. Joe Flacco, 26. Joe Flacco lit up the Steelers, which, by the way, I was so close to once again calling that the Mike Tomlin game of the year. Remember how I did that last year with Cleveland? Yeah. I was so close before, like on Living the Stream last week, but I didn't.
You should have done it.
I'm really mad at myself. It's just the most like Tomlin thing of all time.
Well, okay. Do you know that last week Tomlin was shitting himself the whole week about Flacco being traded?
Oh yeah. Yeah. He was out there saying like how mad he was at Andrew Berry for trading him and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. He was legitimately mad. And now we know why he was mad, because he doesn't know how to defend him.
That's funny. A Flacco.
Yeah. Defense, Miami only had 2, but they weren't really a main play either. We had Cleveland, Chicago, Carolina, 25, 13, and 7. They were in 17. They were 3 of the top 6 defenses last week. Those three defenses. At tight end, Harold Fannin, 7.6. Mason Taylor, 6.1. I mean, those are usable. They're not great, but they're, not horrible. Cade Otton, Cardio Cade, 13.5. Noah Fant found the end zone. I had an anytime touchdown bet for Noah Fant, which was nice.
Did?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're sick. I love it.
I actually, before the game, I went to the late round Discord and I said, Noah Fant, anytime touchdown for CJ's college education.
Wow.
Yeah. So CJ's going to college twice.
Well, thank you, Noah Fant. Thank you, Mike Gesicki, for hurting yourself. I had Fant in the captain on DraftKings and it won me $11. So
boom
for me. Bang.
Boom. And then we had Michael Mayer too. He only had 2. That was probably our worst play of last week. But last but not least, we had Aronda Q Gadston the 6th. And he, my friend, scored 29.4 PPR points. It's really funny how, because we're going to obviously talk about Gadston on today's show. So I want to ask you this. Like, it's really interesting to me that people are so excited about Gadston now when his week over week peripherals were nearly identical.
Well, were they? I thought
A dot was a little bit different.
I thought the routes jumped in week 7. No,
went from 77% to 79%.
Okay.
So yes, technically, but like I'm saying, his target share was actually lower. It was 17% this past week when it was 21% the previous week. All things considered, the A dot, he was getting more looks down the field, which sure, like that's going to give him a better like overall expected, fantasy output. But like the usage was there the previous week, which is why we were calling it out, which is why you always need to follow usage, because the waiver wire does not follow usage.
No,
the waiver wire follows production.
That's
and so when you see the usage before the production happens, you're able to get players like Aronda Gadston before your friends are blowing 35% of their fab on them,
Yeah, another example of that, and not that we talked about him, but Alec Pierce headed into last week. Right. All of the workload stuff, the usage stuff pointed to him, being legit, but like the production really wasn't. But yeah, you're right about Gadston. I saw that Disley only ran 1 route last week, I believe. So
I mean,
he's not
Gadston's
part of the picture.
For real, man. Like he's legit. And like the other thing to this too is that like you're seeing these 2 camps of like, you guys are ridiculous. This is just a, one, he's never going to do that again. And then you have this other camp that's like, oh my gosh, he's like the second coming. But clearly it's in the middle, clearly like what I said to patrons in my waiver wire Q&A that I do every Tuesday night is basically like, more than likely he's like a 10 to 13 PPR point per game player, right? Like highly unlikely he's going to reach like, 14 plus where like Tyler Warren and Trey McBride are going to be. Right. But like, that's fine and good, but you also want to take, like, anytime a rookie does stuff, you want to take a chance on that rookie. Like, I didn't really like Tez Johnson as a prospect, but you have to take a chance on Tez Johnson, you just got to see what it's about. Like, do I think Tez is going to be a league winning player? Of course not. But do I think Gatston's going to be a league winning player? I think he has a better chance of being good at tight end than Tez does at wide receiver. But, I think that we like, it's just like the way that humans work and humans react to this game is that there's just a lot of hyperbole all the time about everything. And it's just so important to just try your best to be level-headed and logical. And I know that's not how people like enjoy even this game. Like they want to be really extreme, but I'm telling you, like you win fantasy leagues when you are not so crazy with your takes.
You're right about that. Unfortunately, you are absolutely correct about that. It's why you've been so successful with both your analysis and unfortunately how you play in fantasy leagues where you always beat me.
But you're right. But you're ahead of me in Apex, aren't you? You have to be ahead of me in Apex. Oh no, Apex this year was bad for you. That's right.
Apex, it's over for me.
Yeah. I'm 8-6 in Apex, so I'm not like crushing right now.
I'm dying. My team is dying. There was something. Well, this I was gonna say the structure of the Chargers offense and the way it's run helps a lot here.
Yeah.
Lots of dropbacks, lots of pass rate over expected stuff, tons of neutral passing. So that definitely helps. And Justin Herbert doesn't hurt. Like that's why it was always a little tenuous to be like, hey, Mason Taylor is going to be a thing because Justin Fields just can't support anybody as a passer.
True.
So Gatston's legit. He's the cover guy for Living the Stream this year.
Yeah, I mean basically because we've been on him now a couple times. And I think of all the tight ends that have come through, I mean, I was kind of excited about Darren Waller. Like this is the other thing too. Like I approach breakout tight ends or like players who could see high target shares, could be red zone threats, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be aggressive in my ranking for them because why do I need some random tight end that's going to like, I don't need like Mark Andrews, who's going to be just as up and down and roller coastery as those guys. Similarly, like Kyle Pitts has been fine this year, but do I think that he has like a crazy ceiling at this point?
No.
Like, I think we know kind of what to expect from Kyle Pitts week in and week out. He's like Pitts is a player who's outpaced where he was drafted. So you got to win out of Pitts this year. I drafted him a couple places and like, that's great. But like when you're really like at tight end, you should be chasing ceiling. So like Aronda Gatston for me in my rest of the season, top 10, like immediate, like why wouldn't we? You know what I mean? Like I don't need, like, who would you rather have, Travis Kelce or Aronda Gatston rest of season?
Gadston easily. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I think that like Kelce is just the floor play that will probably like expected outcome from that standpoint probably would be Kelce over Gadston, but we shouldn't be just looking at the median outcome. We got to like if you were to just run like 1,000 simulations of the rest of the season, there's going to be more higher end outcomes for Aronda Gadston than there would be for Travis Kelce.
Way more. Yeah.
So I think that's the way that like, I really learned that this year with my draft guide is that people, like I always like give players away, like as my targets, avoids, whatever, my rankings, like I rank pretty aggressively for like ceiling, and, I had like JMO ranked relatively high, George Pickens ranked relatively high, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And then I had like, a Cortland Sutton type a little bit lower than where consensus had them. And some people like to draft that other way. And it's just really hard to convey what I'm trying to say with like a Zay Flowers type or something like that, where it's just that I don't necessarily see that ceiling outcome hitting. Although last couple of weeks, I think Zay is like a really good buy. But like it's to me, like, I don't really care that much about the floor outcome. Someone trolled me yesterday and was like, hey, remember when you had Kyler Murray and Justin Fields as top 10 quarterbacks in your rankings at the beginning of the season? Yeah, I do remember that because I'm going to chase ceiling. Do you remember when I had Drake May at QB9? I remember that too. Like you're chasing ceiling. Sorry, I had a rant.
We did nothing wrong with Fields, by the way.
Yes.
When you have a guy who can run for 70 yards and a touchdown every single game, you rank him highly.
So spoiler alert, but Denny's going to be on late round perspectives this week.
Yeah.
Okay. Spoiler alert for all of you. So listen to that show that will drop on Friday. And we're going to have this discussion then. Since you brought it up, I do want to just like ask you on the fly. Do you think Justin Fields, knowing what we know right now, was a bad fantasy football selection, not from a process standpoint, but even a result standpoint?
No, I don't think it was a bad pick. No, I mean, you didn't have to spend a ton of capital on him, and like we know, like the power of the Konami code. So even if he sucked, he was going to get there with rushing. He had to be somewhat viable with passing, and he hasn't checked that box, and so it all falls apart from there if you look at it from that way. But No, I feel great. I feel great about having drafted. Not now. I felt great
Right.
about having drafted him in all the teams. Yeah.
But my thing is that even if you look at the output here for Justin Fields, this is going to be really controversial, and I know people are going to disagree with me really, really hard. Okay. But my point is, you drafted Justin Fields in the double-digit rounds of your draft. Like, he was falling in drafts quite a bit
He was.
in August. And home leagues didn't want him at all. I got him in the 14th round of a home league draft, okay? Justin Fields, his output, let's say you played him week 1, even if you didn't, okay, whatever. But, like, his first 4 games, 29.5, 4 because he got hurt, 27.1, and 25.9 standard fantasy points. 3 of his first 4 games, he got you. He arguably won you the week in those games, right? So that's 1 L out of 4. That's great, right? From a double-digit round pick. And then you go into the Denver game, and most people weren't playing Justin Fields against Denver because they were terrible, or they were really good against the run. You know, I talked about them S-ing the B on the late round fantasy football show. Like, it was a tough start. And then after that Denver game this past week, we all had him ranked pretty low because why would we feel confident starting him after how he looked against Denver, right? Even though it was a decent enough matchup against Carolina. So, like, realistically, you got 4 starts out of Fields. 3 of the 4 starts were league winning, like week winning starts. That alone, you could argue, is enough for a 14th round pick at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. And guess what? He's going to have more. Like,
there's a very real possibility.
He's going to have more. And Tyrod Taylor's like already hurt. Give me a break with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting to bring that up because that to me is like fantasy football game theory in a nutshell, is like the thinking about weekly outcomes and not season long outcomes, and thinking about, like, you know, what we do on the show with streaming and how we stream low end QB1s now really consistently. It used to be mid-range QB1s. And, like, it doesn't matter if Justin Fields doesn't play rest of the season. Like, in a single quarterback league, you can drop him right now.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And it's okay because now there are other options you can go after.
That's right.
And you're still fine at quarterback with no investment. Like, that is the exact point of all of this, right? Of game theory with quarterbacks. And so it's wild to me. Like, yeah, Kyler has not been it. Like, he's not, you know, he hasn't given you those spiked games and those spiked weeks.
Yeah.
Justin Fields has. He's given you exactly what you would want.
That's right. What if, you know, and this is perfectly plausible. What if you drafted Justin Fields in the 9th or 10th round, right, of your 12-team league? You got 3 really good starts to start the season. You flamed out against the Broncos. You said, okay, I'm done with this. I'm starting Jackson Dart now. I'm picking up Jackson Dart. Right. And you can now run with Jackson Dart. And
you can, until he tells you otherwise. Right.
And you should be fine. So, yeah, I mean, I guess what you're saying is it's actually a small miss. It was a big hit and a small miss because it doesn't hurt you that much. It's not like Anthony Richardson last year where you had to take him in the 4th round.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And like I said, you even, you know, you said 9th and 10th. You could have got him in like the 15th. Like, people
really?
did not. No. People did not want Justin Fields in like a regular home draft environment, that kind of environment. You're right from like the standpoint of what we drafted.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But like, and even like best ball leagues, but even in best ball leagues, he was falling to the 11th and 12th and stuff. Like, it was still like, this is not an investment that like we should be upset about. You know, an investment we should be upset about is, like you said, if you drafted Anthony Richardson in the 5th round last year and then he completely, you know, S the B, that's a problem because there's an opportunity cost there. And then people can say, oh, but you could have had Javonte Williams. And it's like, okay, you can play that game you could also have had Jaden Higgins, you know, who's not doing anything right now. Yeah. So like there's a, you know, obviously there's going to be a player that you could have taken that's better in every single round. But I really, and this isn't Cope, like, I don't care, but like, I don't think that it was that bad of a pick, even with the result, even with what we saw and him getting benched.
Let me be clear. We are neither coping nor crying here.
No, yeah, okay. There's no crying.
And we're going to talk about it more on late round perspectives.
Yeah, we're only going to talk about it for 15 more minutes. Don't worry, and take more of your time. All right, let's move on to quarterback. I'll kick things off with Jackson Dart since you brought him up. He's still available. He's still out there, or he was pre-waivers running this week, so I didn't look. He's probably way over at this point. But Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes are the only quarterbacks with more points per game this season than Jackson Dart. Just those 3 guys.
Wow. You're saying he's better than Lamar. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, right. It's a tough spot this week, though. Are you a little bit afraid of what this could, of how this could go down after how they manhandled the Eagles a couple weeks ago?
I'm not. No, I'm not scared of the Eagles defense. And Dart, look, the Jackson Dart vibes revolution has. I'm just riding. I'm just going with it.
Same.
And he's going to run when he needs to. He's actually being patient. He's making good throws. He's not being stupid. I think he'll be fine.
He was still, because of the way that the Apex League is laid out, he was still on waivers last week, and I spent $83 on him. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that because I also bid on it.
Yeah, but I was like, because I've had Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold all year, and I'm like, I need now I feel great about the bid. Like, it could have gone south if he had a really bad game against Denver. Then we're like, oh, we can't even play. We can't play him in these like really tough matchups.
Denver's a really good defense, guys. Like if he could do it against them, I feel like he'll be fine.
I mean, he's done it against Philly, the Chargers, the Saints, and the Broncos. His worst outing was against the Saints, oddly. But those three defenses are top 10 against quarterbacks by adjusted points allowed. Like, he's been crushing it this year.
Has he played the Cowboys?
No.
Oh, can't wait.
Yeah. So it's just really hard to fade that like 50 plus rushing yards, in 3 or 4 games. He scored a rushing touchdown in 3 or 4 games. Like, it's hard to fade that at this point. I think you just start Jackson Dart until you can't.
That's right. I have Michael Penix Jr. if he plays against the Dolphins. I mean, this profiles is like the run heaviest game plan of all time. Falcons are super run heavy. They're playing one of the most extreme run funnel defenses in the league in the Dolphins. But the Falcons have a 25.75 point total.
Yeah.
7-point favorites. It's a good environment, many are saying. Quarterbacks have been super efficient against Miami. The Dolphins give up the league's 3rd highest adjusted yards per attempt. I think you could do worse than Penix.
Yeah. Miami definitely a team that teams will be able to run on. I mean, Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier are going to combine for 270 this week.
I was going to say, this is the week to get cute with Tyler Algier.
Yeah, this is finally exactly. I'm going to go with Tyrod Taylor. He has a knee injury right now, so we'll see if he ends up actually starting for them. It sounds like he will. I saw a report that Aaron Glenn doesn't seem concerned, and that this has been a thing for actually a little bit of time now with Taylor. But there is some mobility upside with Taylor. They get the Bengals this week. That's a 4th best matchup by adjusted points allowed. They've given up 41 adjusted passing yards to quarterbacks per game above expected. That's one of the most in the league. So good matchup for him. Don't love the total. I mean, like, Vegas and sportsbooks like really are loving Cincinnati this week, which is a little bit scary, but we should see a negative game script for the Jets. So they won't be able to be like as, pass or as run heavy as they would ideally want to be.
Yeah. I have Aaron Rodgers. He is, I don't know if you've heard this. He's playing the Packers this week. So basically that should just be the end of my spiel. Rodgers playing the Packers. I mean, this guy is going to have the chip on his shoulder is going to be visible from Mars. When he beat the Jets earlier this year, he acted like he had defeated like his greatest enemy.
Right. Now imagine the Packers.
Right. Now, yeah, multiply that by 700 and you have the Packers. This game, 45-point total. It's fine. I did want to mention Green Bay opponents are passing at a 64% neutral clip. That's the 2nd highest rate in the league. Profiles, I think, as a sneaky high volume offensive play game total play game here. And yeah, I mean, just remember that Aaron Rodgers, I'm sorry, but Aaron Rodgers is not leaving the field until he throws 3 touchdowns against the Packers. It's just not happening.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing too is that the Packers pass rush is really what you want to worry about. And the Steelers can mitigate that a bit because Aaron Rodgers just gets rid of the ball immediately and just throws it to his running backs.
It is actually crazy. In the regression files that I write for Roto World, which is on the site right now, I wrote about total team air yards through week 7.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something about the Steelers. Not a lot of air yards going around.
He's basically, I mean, like what he's doing is what Alex Smith did that one year. In like 2016 or something like that. Like pretty soon before. It wasn't like the great season he had right before Mahomes, but it was like one of those years where he had like a 5-yard ADOT. And that's basically what we're seeing with Rodgers this year. Yeah. I'm going to go back to that Jets Bengals game. Joe Flacco, he's the cover boy for this week's live stream, the thumbnail. Potentially no Sauce Gardner. That would be really big for the Bengals. The Jets are an average matchup on paper, but they really haven't gotten much pressure on the quarterback this year. That's also good for Joe Flacco because we know that him under pressure over the last couple of years has not been great. Now, he mitigated that last week by doing what Rodgers does, and Mike Tomlin didn't know how to adjust, and company didn't know how to adjust, and the secondary played so poorly. But it's hard to go against this 25-point implied team total for Cincinnati. So I think Flacco is probably the best like traditional streamer, and we said it last week, but he's got a really good schedule moving forward. Like he might just be a guy that you can play in good matchups and kind of tandem with another quarterback for the rest of the season.
We get to tight ends in just a second. I just want to say, Joe Flacco, after the game, after that Thursday night game, he was interviewed by the NFL Network folks, and he was just like very blunt about the situation. He was like, I have two great receivers. When I see one of them open, I'm just going to throw it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like a lesson for other quarterbacks. Just throw it, man. Like
don't overthink it.
Like Kyler Murray, throw the ball. Throw the ball to Trey McBride.
Do you think that part of it though is that Flacco knows he has literally nothing to lose? So he's just like, sure, I'm just gonna do this thing because if it's a pick six, what does it matter to me? You know,
that's not a bad way of thinking it. But like Kyler Murray, like Trevor Lawrence, like let it rip, man. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Do you think that Travis Hunter is going to take over as the one post bye? Don't you love that I just lob these questions to you? Because I don't get to talk football to you during the week.
But I think we're going to talk about it tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll save it for perspectives.
I have a take that's going to take a while.
Okay. All right. We also have. Oh, I want to shout this out. We didn't talk about this. Deeper play, Marcus Mariota.
Oh, right.
Jaden Daniels is out. Mariota in his 4 games where he's thrown significant volume for Washington because he came in for an injured Jaden Daniels before. These are his fantasy point totals: 20.3, 16.2, 19.6, and 26. Like he's out there. I mean, there's rushing upside. You know, there could be a negative. I mean, there probably will be a negative game script against Kansas City.
Yeah.
So they should be forced to pass a little bit more. I don't think and him scrambling more as a result of that. Like I don't think he's that bad of a play this week. I don't think he's like that far off from Tyrod Taylor if we get like if we get like McLaurin and Debo back or something, then I would probably just play Mariota over Tyrod.
I would do that anyway, honestly. I mean, just for me personally, I would feel more comfortable with Mariota over Taylor. Taylor, you know, he has the knee thing. He's not really running all that much.
Yeah.
Taylor has in his old age has become a point guard. And as if you have a Jets pass catcher on your team, you need that. Like he's more important from the perspective of doling out the ball, distributing the ball. I like Mariota's actual like fantasy prospects more.
Yeah. I mean, when you can be a point guard for Arian Smith and Josh Reynolds, I mean, you gotta roll with it whenever you can just do that with your offense. All right. Tight end. Let's go to tight end. We have a lot of them, so we'll do this quick.
I'll start with with Mason Taylor, one of the guys that may get point guard Tyrod Taylor as his quarterback. Playing the Bengals, tight end see 10.2 targets per game against Cincinnati. It's the second highest rate in the league. Tyrod Taylor has been excellent in the short area passes. Bengals allowing the 4th highest completion rate ever expected on targets between 0 and 10 yards. It's a Mason Taylor season.
I'm going to go to Noah Fant. I actually don't feel great about this because Tanner Hudson's back. I saw he was practicing. Yeah, so that's a big problem for him. So this is a deeper play. But Gesicki's still out, 76% route share last week. Jets are 3rd in adjusted target share allowed to tight ends. So they might look Noah Fant's way a little bit more. But yeah, with Hudson back, I don't think that you can consider him a normal play. This is more of a deep play.
Yeah. Dalton Schultz in play, mostly because Nico Collins is out. The tight end position is seeing about 8 targets per game against the 49ers. Schultz was targeted on an unbelievably high 26% of his routes last week against Seattle.
Let's go to Aronda Gatston. Like I said, about a 78% route share over his last 2 games. He's balling out. Minnesota, I talked about this with Harold Fannin when they played on, but Minnesota has been like their secondary has been good from a fantasy points perspective, like just limiting fantasy points in general. But they're first in adjusted target share allowed to slot wide receivers. So when slot receivers are playing against them, they tend to see more targets than they typically do. And Gatston does line up in the slot, like last week he had a 50% slot rate. I mean, you see that with tight ends, but there could be a little bit of a matchup play there. But regardless, I think that after what he did last week, you're probably starting him this week with all the buys and stuff.
For sure. Cardio K. Dotton against the Saints. Mike Evans out. Chris Godwin out. K. Dotton has the third most tight end targets and the third most tight end receptions over the past 3 weeks. How about that? He's been targeted on 19% of his routes over that stretch. Not so much cardio anymore. He's actually having to do some work.
Yeah. Yeah. He's getting the baton now, before he was just running. Now he's got the baton.
That's right.
Colston Loveland. I'm going to shout out. I think I texted you about this, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
No Cole Kmet probably this week is that back injury. I think that he's probably going to be out. Baltimore's just an above average matchup, but Loveland had a 63% route share last week. This should be a pass heavy script. I think he's fine. I would probably, given the Tanner Hudson stuff, I'd play him over Noah Fant, I think.
Yeah, I think Fant is like
that's out, of course.
Yeah. Bottom of the barrel here. All right, defenses.
Yes.
I will start with the Bengals. They're playing the Jets. If Justin Fields starts, which I don't know if he will, we'll see with the Tyrod knee thing. I know it probably seems like Tyrod Taylor, but I did want to mention that Justin Fields has been sacked on a league high 14% of his dropbacks. He ranks 25th in CPOE. So you're just hoping for some interceptions, for some turnovers.
I think the Falcons are probably the best traditional streamer this week. Yeah. They're second best in the league in yards per game allowed right now. I said this tweet out last week, but even updated numbers, even after they faced Christian McCaffrey and he had a great game against them, they've been the second worst matchup against quarterbacks this year. So they rank 31st in adjusted points allowed to the position, or second in adjusted points allowed, however you want to look at it, favorably, right? Sixth worst matchup for running backs by adjusted points allowed, third worst against wide receivers, and the absolute worst against tight ends. I mean, the defense has been great, and now they get Miami. Miami's struggling. They're 7.5 point dog. So I like Atlanta this week.
That's a sack-based floor, I think. Yes. Bills against the Panthers. Andy Dalton is going to start for Carolina. Bills are 7.5 point favorites in Carolina. Should be lots of negative game script, lots of dropbacks for Andy Dalton in obvious pass situations. We like that. The Bills might get back some defensive starters. We'll see. Keep it locked in the Roto World to check on Friday and Saturday. And I just want to mention this. Carolina has one of the highest pass rates in the league when trailing. We want that. We need Dalton dropping back and throwing.
The Bucks are the last one. They're top 5. This is a top 5 pressure rate matchup this week. When you look at pressure given and pressure allowed for the Bucks defense, 4.5 point favorites. The Saints are top half matchup for defenses by adjusted points allowed. So the Bucks are fine, but I think the other 3 are probably better than the Bucks this week.
We just got a comment saying that Bryce Young is fine. That's news to me.
Well, if that's the case, then the Bills are an even better play.
Yeah, that would be surprising. But yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, Dalton and Bryce Young are the same.
Yeah. All right. So to recap, we have the Falcons, Bucks, Bills and Bengals, Colston Loveland, Aronda Gadston, Noah Fant, Dalton Schultz, Mason Taylor, K. Dotton, Marcus Mariota, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco, Tyrod Taylor, Michael Penix, and Jackson Q. Dart. All right. Let's look to Twitter Blue Sky for some questions.
Yeah.
The first question, I'm pulling it up right now. I'm not as prepared as I should be. The first question is from Steak Knife Op.
Okay.
If you somehow had the ability to get a transcript of every time somebody talked about you behind your back, would you want to even read it? Ugh. Also, how long would each of your transcripts be? I feel like JJ's would be longer than Denny's.
Yours would absolutely not be longer than mine.
because of your controversial posting.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Like guys,
people hate me though, man. People hate me.
I've been told of like entire like chat groups being formed around hating me. Like
oh really? Yeah, I'm not there. I'm definitely not. I don't think I'm there at least. I know that. Look, when you put yourself out there, when you're doing content, when you're doing anything, like people will rationally or irrationally hate you.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time it's irrationally. Like people just make things up. I see things all the time on like Reddit and stuff. People just make things up
Really?
You know that someone once on Reddit said that they met me and did I tell you about this before?
I don't
Said
think
that they
so.
met me in real life and I completely ignored them and walked away.
Really?
Do you know how like number one, I'm the least confrontational person in the world.
Oh my God.
And number two, like, I can't even fathom that
Yeah,
actually happening in
that
real.
would
Like,
be
it would never happen ever.
well, here's what happened, buddy. You didn't speak up. You
Yeah,
didn't project your voice. JJ didn't hear you, man. Like
I'm just,
that's what
it just,
happened.
it's wild, man. I mean, people just say stuff.
Um, yeah, no, I do feel, I'm not trying to brag. This is not like a sick brag, but I do feel like people have talked a lot about me behind my back, and that's it comes with the territory. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like you ask for it more than like I do.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I practically beg for it. Like
Right.
I've talked with Rotopat before. He's like, "How do so many people hate you?"
Yeah.
And because I'm not, you know, I don't mean, I'm not a confrontational person like you. I mean, similar to you, I'm not a confrontational person. But you know, I guess just being opinionated online, that it'll get you some haters. That's the way it goes.
Yeah. Christopher Davey, by the way, says it appears I completely made up Bryce was practicing today. Sorry.
That's okay, Christopher. That's okay. You rattled me, honestly, because
Yeah,
I remember doing a blur being like, Bryce is done for this week.
Yeah. Would you read, by the way, would you read the transcripts?
No, I
No?
actually wouldn't.
I probably would.
I don't think I could stomach it. Oof.
I have a hard time completely ignoring it. Like, I don't let things get to me like I did when I was in like my 20s and stuff, but I have a hard time just ignoring things, you know? Like I can take, like, because I'm just to the point where, like, hate me for liking Travion Henderson this year. Okay, that's fair. You know, like I like them. So I can't, like, what am I gonna do? You know, like it was a bad call, right? Whereas if you're saying like JJ hated Jackson Smith and Jigba, I'm gonna be like, no, stop. You know, like I want to defend my honor
That was
because
me.
I
hated JSN.
I was 2 spots ahead of the market with JSN this, you know, like that kind of stuff. That's the
Oh,
kind of stuff that irritates me. It's not, look, if someone goes out and this is JJ's a moron for doing this, I'll say, okay, you're probably right because I got that wrong, you know?
Listen, okay, just real quick. Every time I see JSN play, I think, oh my God, I was very bearish on a guy who is headed toward possibly the greatest season of all time for a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Way
good.
to go. Follow me for fantasy football advice.
He's real. Well, when stuff like that happens, I always like go back. I'm like, please let me have beaten ADP with my rankings with that player. And I had him at wide receiver 12 and he was wide receiver 14 in ADP. So I was glad about that.
Yeah, you were above consensus, and
Yeah,
turns out
like
he's
this
a great
person in the
ball.
chat joking around saying JJ said Adunze was a bust. GG, right? Because I did that. You know about the Adunze Egbuka wars, right? Do you know about this?
No.
Okay, well, I've never brought it up on Living the Stream then, so I'll bring it up really quick now. Back in May, okay, I made a trade. I traded Rome Odunze for the 108 in a rookie draft, okay? And I did an email newsletter where I talked about 2 trades that I recently did in Dynasty Leagues just because it was May and I needed content, right? And so I wrote it up, and little did I know it was going to make its way to Reddit, and people were destroying me for trading away Rome Odunze for the 108. But my logic behind it was that at worst, my 108 pick was going to be Emeka Egbuka. And I saw Egbuka as just as good of a prospect as Rome Odunze entering the league. That's what the Zap model said. And I'm like, this is a reroll situation, right? It's a game theory situation where if Odunze, we didn't know where Odunze would go in year 2. Like he was the wide receiver 37 by ADP in redraft. The only way that he was going to see a rise in his dynasty ADP and value is if he's doing what he's doing now, which by the way, he's not doing much over the last couple of weeks. But and then I did a whole 25-minute episode on living in the gray area in fantasy football back in May on the podcast, where I talked about this was a range of outcomes. Look, like I fully recognize, I even wrote about it in my prospect guide in my year 2 stuff, that Rome Odunze could end up being DeAndre Hopkins. Like that was a real outcome for him based on some of the comps that I had run. Whereas it could also go south. Like he had a bad rookie season from like a peripheral standpoint. And so like people now think that I hate Odunze. Odunze was my number 1 drafted player in best ball this year.
That's funny.
You know, so like stuff like that where like people just have, but now everyone would rather have Ibuka than Adunze anyway. So it's fine.
The thing here, JJ did nothing wrong. You have to.
I don't think I've ever done anything wrong. I'm just never wrong, just early, right?
By the way, I wanted to say about the transcript thing. I'm always open to constructive criticism. Like I've had people reach out to me, about football stuff, about non-football stuff, and be like, you need to do better. And I try not to be defensive, and I try to take it to heart, and I try to be better.
Right.
But the stuff that I would read in those chat logs would not make me a better person. It would make me just completely collapse internally, emotionally.
That's fair. And you can always tell, like people, like I love when people email with like legit constructive criticism when they're like approaching it as like a, hey man, not in like a, you were wrong about this, like waking up on Monday or on Tuesday morning, someone emailing me being mad that I ranked Nico Collins high at the beginning of the season. It's like, okay, that was wrong. Like Nico Collins sucks this year. Like it's been really, really rough and it was a wrong pick, but like, it's just frustrating. Like it's not an easy thing as a human being to open up your email and just see that, when you could do it in a much more like appropriate way and be like, hey, what did you see? Like, why did that happen? Or why did you, instead of just sarcastically thanking me for it,
Yeah, I'll give you just real quick. We'll move on in a second. I want to give the folks proof that I actually do take criticism and apply it, and I'm okay with it. TJ Hernandez, who I know you know, TJ Hernandez was a prolific fantasy analyst for 4for4 for many years. I don't think he's in the industry anymore.
He's not. Yeah, great dude.
Yeah, very very nice guy. So he was just like a fantasy player back in like 2015, and I played in a league with him, and he knew of me and knew my work, and he emailed me after the season and was like, hey, I think you managed your team really poorly, and I was surprised at how bad you were. And I was like, and he pointed any bullet points. You did this in week 5. You did that transaction. You traded it. And I was like, dang, he's right. And I got him a freelance job because I thought that was such great analysis, and he took off from there. So that exact same thing happened with me and Chris Raybon. Oh, really?
Chris Raybon started at Number Fire because he critiqued one of my articles, and I said, "You're right. Come right for me." And then he started at Number Fire.
God, yes. Oh, and Raybon and Hernandez were boys.
Look at this. Look at this, man. Yeah, I love Raybon. He'll always have a special place in my heart. All right, next question. At Rookmatic, it says, what's the best condiment? I constantly see Big Mustard try to throw shots at ketchup, but ketchup is great on burgers, hot dogs, and with fries. My favorite is probably a good buffalo sauce. Also, can Flacco be a top 10 fantasy quarterback rest of the season? Probably not Flacco.
I don't know.
Probably not. Condiment, I like the buffalo sauce call out, like a good buffalo sauce. Like I'm talking like you can't be too hot. It's got to just be the buffalo flavor. Like that's a good condiment.
I'll go with that. I like ketchup. I know it's boring, but only Heinz, obviously.
Yeah, of course, because
there's literally no other. Hunt's, is it called Hunt's?
I can't even tell you when I meet someone and they pull out like Hunt's, or they like go buy Hunt's, or they have it at their house, I leave immediately.
Right, for religious purposes.
I mean, it's a religion growing up in Pittsburgh. Yeah, you gotta eat anything Heinz.
Yeah, I think it's ketchup.
I don't really do ketchup anymore because I don't do tomatoes because it's part of my. There's like 3 foods that I can't consume anymore. It's anything with caffeine, chocolate, and tomatoes. Those are the things that just like do not agree with my body, and so
tomatoes will give you heartburn.
Yeah, I can't. I don't do it. And so I don't eat ketchup. I don't really eat many. Do you eat do you go for a lot of condiments?
No, I don't. No. I definitely, if I want a little ketchup, I'll put just a little bit on my burger or whatever, but not much.
Honey mustard's good though.
I do like honey mustard, weirdly, because I don't like mustard. I think mustard's kind
of mid, yeah. But like honey mustard, I mean, like Chick-fil-A sauce. Chick-fil-A sauce is really good.
Chick-fil-A sauce is so good that I wonder if I'm like gaining 3 pounds with every scoop. I have a question here from John Thomas, a patron, supporter of the show, a friend of the show, some would say. What are your feelings toward car buying? My father-in-law absolutely loves it and considers it a sport.
Car
I
like
hate-
like the process of car buying, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So he says, I hate it and
Yeah.
find it painfully awkward and uncomfortable. You guys seem like such nice guys that I can't imagine you grinding a salesman down to the last penny. I never pay sticker price, but no, I've left a lot of money on the table just to get out of there. My dad has been in the car industry since he was like 20 years old. I have always had his help with acquiring cars in some way. And so I've never been, no one has ever gotten over on me with cars. Now, I will say the CarMax model where there's no haggling eliminates all of this. You go in, the price is the price. It doesn't matter. But if you are a person who wants to avoid conflict, you are going to be trampled all over the place by people selling cars, because the market is not exactly set for a lot of like used cars, right? So you can be had pretty easily.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it with a passion. I've done it now twice in my life, or 3 times if you count a car that Amanda had bought. I just try to keep my cars. Like I had my car from college for like that I didn't have to do all on my own for like 8 or 9 years, and then went and got a different one, had to do that on my own, and then got the one I have now, did that on my own, and then we got Amanda's as well. Hated every experience with a passion, every single one. It's arguably the worst.
I do hate it. I hate when we bought our Subaru Outback, we were in the dealership for 4 hours.
Why do they hold you hostage forever too? Like you're in there for days. Like you have to bring a sleeping bag when you go to the freaking car dealership.
We were being passed back and forth between all these different managers, and I was like, I called my dad and I was like, why are they doing this? He was like, they're trying to get you to like sign up and buy things that you don't need.
I'm done with this. Yeah.
You just keep saying no. He says, you just keep saying no. So my dad has been very helpful in that regard.
I got one.
Yeah.
At Tom Otten _FF. This is Cade's dad.
This is right.
At what age is it acceptable to make noise while using a public toilet?
What?
Like, are you talking about grunting or farting?
I think he means grunting.
Yeah, I don't think you should ever grunt.
I think you should keep the grunting to a minimum.
Yeah, you should not be grunting ever while on the toilet.
And maybe if you feel like you need to, you should go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Just to get it checked out, Yeah, don't. Oh man, can I tell you, when I hear spitting in the men's room, that's gross.
Spitting?
Like, don't spit.
Like into the toilet and into the or like a hawk, like a
big hawk thing. That's literally no reason to do that. Don't do that.
We got one from Blue Sky from Mitchell that I want to read. Okay. This is a long one. When turning left at a green light or yellow blinking arrow, not a green arrow. Okay. So you're yielding you're waiting for traffic.
Okay.
Wait back at the line for the road to clear so you can turn left, risking the possibility that the light could turn red and you have to wait another cycle. Or creep out slowly about halfway into the intersection so that you can turn left when the coast is clear, and or turn left as the light turns from yellow to red and not have to be stuck at the light for another whole cycle. I was taught the latter in driver's ed in Minnesota and still do it nearly every day, while almost 95% of drivers in Virginia and North Carolina do the former. It's baffling.
If you're scared, you're going to sit back. And if you're confident in your driving, you're going to inch out and you're going to get into that intersection. You're going to get your nose in the mix and you're going to say, I'm ready to go when this light turns yellow or whatever, or when I get the all clear. I do that every time.
So yeah, I mean, I think also if you're familiar with the territory, then you know that you can creep up in the intersection and stuff. You know about the Pittsburgh left though, right?
No.
The Pittsburgh left is when it's a red light going both ways. Okay. And then instead of there being an arrow, there's just a green light that hits going both ways. The person on the other side, knowing that you're needing to make a left turn, will let you make the left turn first so that the rest of the traffic behind you goes right. And you're able to just make that turn right away. And it's sort of like a like a little hat tip, like good. Wow. I tried it once in North Carolina. It didn't go well.
No, I imagine not. I would have no idea what was going on. I thought the Pittsburgh left were the people mad at John Fetterman. Hey, oh, hey.
Hey.
Let's go.
All of a sudden, it's a political podcast.
All right, I have one from a patron named The Answer is Cheese. That's the person's handle. I have a friend who picks up their dog's poo after it goes in their yard and then brings it inside with them to flush down their toilet. Their reasoning is that this is more environmentally friendly than using poop bags to deal with pet waste. I am all for clean oceans and air, but walking into my house with a handful of dog stuff just for flushing seems like a bridge too far. That's gross. I'm sorry. What's going on here? What exactly? I mean, wait, are you on board with this? Please say no.
No, I don't. But here's the thing. We both have small dogs where their feces is very small.
That helps.
And it's just different. Like I've never had a big dog where they take human-sized dumps. And so like, I don't really know what that's like and what that experience is like.
Gross,
and
man.
so like, I think it's actually easier and more acceptable to do this with a small dog than it is a big dog. Because if you're doing it with a big dog, you're literally bringing in like a heaping pile of poop into your house to then flush down the toilet, as opposed to a small dog. It's like, whatever. It's just like a little it's like a, carrot.
Also, guys, look, you're using a little tiny thin plastic bag for your dog's poop. That's not going to make the difference between environmental collapse and no environmental collapse. Like I'm all for like, individual action and whatever, but I draw the line at picking up dog poop and throwing it into the toilet without the bag. No, just use the bag. It'll be all right. This idea that like it's on like the individual to save the environment is so ludicrous. It hurts. Like,
all I gotta say is don't clip this and put it on Blue Sky, folks. Denny will get destroyed. If
no. I'm saying like what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say that putting it on the individual is irresponsible, because it is not the individual who's doing this. It is
the majority of the issues environmentally are not even close to just the individual. Is that what you're saying?
If I lived 1,000 lifetimes, I could not pollute as much as like one company.
You're right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So. Yeah. All right. Next question's from Jeremy, the moderator over at Reddit. It says, when you're in the shower, do you ever lose track if you've washed your hair and or body? If there's doubt, do you just do it again to be safe?
I thought this was going to be a that song from Rockwell. When I'm in the shower, I'm afraid to wash my hair.
Right.
Somebody's watching me. I've never had any doubt. Have you had any doubt?
Oh, I've had doubt. Yeah. Probably once a month.
Okay.
Yeah, because I like hanging out in the shower. I'm not a 2-minute shower person.
You said you do a lot of thinking.
Yeah, I like to think in the shower. I like to just relax. Yes. And one way in doing that is to chill out, let your mind. It's almost like a meditation, and you're kind of going through the motions, but then you realize, did I do that?
Yeah.
And then I just do it again. Yeah, I just do it again.
Hey. The stuff I put in my hair it is so gunky that I actually have to make like a physical effort to get it out. So perhaps I'm more engaged in the actual washing of the hair than most. The powder I use just creates like this like texture that requires. Sometimes I do have to wash it twice, not because I've forgotten, but because there's so much stuff in it.
Right. You need to call like assistants and get there's like a company that comes out to help you wash your hair.
I have to get special conditioner. I'm not joking. To get this stuff out.
Jeremiah asked if we ever suffer from imposter syndrome and how do you guys combat it? I'm a middling horror writer with a few published short works and would really like to put more out there, but I find myself consistently filled with self-doubt and the belief that any previous successes must have been a fluke.
I wrote horror, just so you know. A lot of my stuff is on Amazon. I haven't written in a long time, but I used to write horror short stories. I have a Halloween story collection out there. And I have felt imposter syndrome. I don't currently feel it. But I do understand it. I think just focusing on the work itself and not worrying about what other people think. I think that's how you avoid imposter syndrome.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I mean, I feel it. I think anyone who's like not totally narcissistic would probably feel imposter syndrome in some way at some point in time, you know?
Or
like,
they would admit to it.
right, exactly. And so like I think most people feel it to some degree. You just build confidence with reps and with experience, and you don't feel it as much then. But yeah, I mean, like every year I definitely still feel it. Like when people come up to you and they're like, "Oh, you're the best fantasy football analyst I've ever listened," blah blah blah. Like I don't know how to take that genuinely. It's not very appreciative of it, but I genuinely do not know how to take that. I mean that in wholeheartedly. I do not know. It's crazy to me.
When we first started to emerge back on Twitter, I did feel a lot of imposter syndrome because I was like no, this is the space for like only like Matthew Berry and Sigmund Bloom and Evan Silva and those like that. I don't belong there.
Yeah.
I guess you kind of get accustomed to it, but I remember feeling that pretty intensely. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you what, when we saw Matt Harmon wear Living the Stream t-shirt on NFL Network.
Oh yeah.
That one time I was like, wait, what? Like our podcast is on NFL Network right now. Like that felt impostery to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like impossible to not feel that way because we're constantly getting feedback. Like we talked about like 15 minutes ago, we're constantly getting negative feedback too. It's not just positive feedback. If it was only positive feedback, you'd probably just feel all the confidence in the world. And you're like, yeah, I am great. You know, like, but you're humbled constantly by this job, like constantly, you know, like, and you get frustrated and you're like, why didn't I do this? Why, you know, all of that, it goes through your head. Football season is just stressful from that perspective for me, where I'm just constantly thinking about like where I can get better and how I can approach this differently. Like I'm always thinking about it during football season. And then my brain can shut off a little bit during the 8 months of the off season. But, you know, I think that it's natural to, especially when you're starting out, to feel imposter syndrome. And you know, that's why I really love doing like the work I'm doing now, because I can feel like the draft guide and the prospect guide and stuff, because I can feel like a sense of genuine pride, because it's something that, you know I worked really, really hard on, and I can focus on just that and say, I did this, and I genuinely know how hard it would be for someone else to do this because it was so hard for me to do this, you know?
Right. Yes. Yeah. I focus on that feeling. I think that's a good way to avoid that imposter syndrome. But just remember, like everybody just acts a certain way to get to where they want to go. Like I've read, you know, you see in the shelf behind me, I have lots of David Bowie books, and he basically just faked it until he made it. Like he like faked being a rock star. He was like, yeah, I'm a rock star, by the way. And people were like, oh, seriously? Oh, damn. Like, that's awesome. You're a rock star? Yeah, I'm a rock star. And until he was like the biggest on the planet. Like, that's the way it goes for so many careers. Be like, I'm a great writer. Did you know that?
Yeah.
And people will be like, oh, seriously? And they'll read just, oh, you are great. I know. And you, so it kind of, it's like a snowball effect. Not that I say that, but I do feel like there's like a secret, and I don't want to sound like Oprah or anything, but like you can kind of be what you want to be if you act that way long enough. Yeah.
And just let the work speak for itself.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're going to like Bowie could go out and do that because like the work was at least there, and even
he's working hard.
Right. Like even to someone who like viewed it as like, even if he viewed it as average, it was at least average, but it was obviously a lot more than average. But like for me, it's just like, I'm just going to try my best to do this work. And, you know, I once you get that experience, and now I have 13 years in doing this, and it's like, okay, I've kind of seen it all in terms of it just going really south for me and going really well for me, all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to let the work speak for itself at this point. And, you know, if it helps people, it helps people. If it doesn't, then I'll survive. It's not the end of the world.
You're not faking it. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, Denny, that's it for today's show. Let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah. You can find all my work on rotoworld.com. You can find me on Blue Sky, which, by the way, Blue Sky over the past 3 to 6 months has seen a huge increase in sports content. I encourage folks to check it out. I'm talking NBA, obviously NFL, baseball, not so much golf, but I don't know if folks are into golf so much in the Living the Stream community. But check it out. I think you'll be surprised at how much sports content is on Blue Sky. You can find me there, and I will be on JJ's other show, the Late Round Perspectives on Thursday.
Yeah, recording tomorrow, dropping Friday. Very excited for that. Find all my stuff over on lateround.com. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, to the podcast, all that stuff. Denny, this is a pleasure, and it's going to be a pleasure talking to you tomorrow again. But for now, everyone, good luck in week 8.
Thank you for listening to Living the Stream. We hope you enjoyed the internet podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes now. It won't take long, it's fast. For more fantasy football info, check out
LateRound.com and Roto World.
Hope you come back soon as we share about the teams and as we live in the stream.